What's going on, everybody? We're episode 7 now. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out episode 6 of To the Show We Go with Ed Han and myself, we had Noah Dean on, who was a sneaky funny guy. Ed, how would you describe Noah Dean?
I want to hang out with Noah D, and I want to just like go to a trivia night or something with him and just hang out. Like he just seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, bingo. Apparently, down in Fort Myers is his thing. So that's somebody that we're definitely going to have on again in the future. We're joined by another Red Sox former draft pick, Kole Cottam, University of Kentucky guy. Which I guess it's Mizzou Kentucky week right now, but I guess we'll let it slide. But Cole, how's everything been going?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. I hope the Cats win on Saturday, but it's hopefully better than last week. That's for sure.
Yeah, Mizzou's coming off a loss against LSU anyway, but I guess I kind of want to dive into it because like we were talking a little bit before, I missed you by a year in Worcester, but how has this year, I guess, just been going for you, like post Red Sox?
It's been great. Obviously, I miss the guys over there, and still keep in touch with a lot of them. But man, it's been such an incredible year. I think so. After I left Fort Myers in February or March, whatever it was, I got to spend 2 more months at home with my newborn daughter, my wife, and just get ready and just kind of explore everything about my career with baseball and all that. And I ended up playing in the Atlantic League this season. Loved it. I mean, just a very unique experience for sure, but such a great group of guys. Had a great staff there, and just a very fun, exciting year.
How did you go about the process of leaving the Red Sox organization and then finding the Atlantic League? Because I remember talking just after it happened with you, and it seemed like it was your call to be released. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and credit to the front office. They were very honest with me with my position for that year, and the standing I had in the organization. So very, they were nice enough to let me go as well. They didn't have to do that. And like I said, it gave me that time with family afterwards. So once, it was the hardest decision I've made in my life probably to ask for my release. But once that door closed, there's so many more that opened, and so I was very very thankful for that. And that's time I'll always have with my family. But yeah, so I once after my release and became official, there was a lot of teams that were calling on the independent side, and overall, one of my best friends, Luke Becker, went to Kentucky with me. He played for the manager in Frederick the year before in Lexington, so I was. Set up that way and got into contact with him, and ended up playing there.
I want to say congrats, by the way, on becoming a dad.
Thank
I
you.
feel like that. I guess first and foremost, like how is it being a dad now?
Man, it's incredible. Unfortunately during the season, I had my wife come and visit with my daughter and everything, and I came back sparingly, but once the season ended, I'm in full daddy daycare mode here, so it's been good. I think I had a taste of it with the first little bit, but once the season ended, I came right back into the fire. So, but couldn't be better, couldn't be more exciting. Just truly, as hard as every day could be, it's so much better, with her. So.
And that kind of I had another question like tailored into that. You kind of touched a little bit on is how difficult was that? I guess to be away from the family at times and just having like a young child and playing baseball. Like, was it a little tough to juggle at first?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it obviously wasn't easy, especially once she was born, I went back down to Florida. Leaving a newborn was really difficult. But man, my I cannot understate how I can't tell you how incredible my wife is, and she is an absolute superwoman. I mean the stuff that she's gone through with all this, and supporting me the entire way. There's no words I can really describe it, but it was really difficult, and but she made it so much easier, and fortunately, FaceTime and everything, and so many pictures, and she completely changes her schedule to come visit and bring in our daughter. So But it was really difficult, man, and one of the toughest. But it made the year so much more special, I think, for sure. Especially the way, it could have been such a challenging year with, leaving the Red Sox and going to independent ball, and but having them with me through the way, and come and visit and everything was so much incredible. It's just incredible.
How did you like Frederick? I have some very fond memories. My dad lived there for a few months when I was 10 or 11, and we saw the Frederick Keys play there. I think they were the minor league team for the Orioles at the time. I just remember it being a really, like, the fans were really good. It was a nice stadium. I remember seeing some guys like Jason Worth was playing there, and Joan Figgins, and some guys that ended up being real ball players. But how was the environment there? How is the city, and how does indie ball compare to affiliated minor league ball?
It's a different, right? Like the stadiums are obviously smaller, but the fans are great, and I think Frederick, unbelievable city. I was very honestly surprised. When I was in Salem, we missed that. They were still an affiliate at the time, but I didn't go there. And man, it was a great city, great setup. The fans were great. We had some good crowds, some good weekend crowds, but overall, the league, I mean, there are certain places, there's Lancaster, York, a lot of places get, 5, 6, 7,000, stuff like maybe more. I mean, they really care about it, and I think that makes it special too. There's certain days, the Tuesday after a long trip that you could just wash off. But man, it's the fans made it a really fun year, and they do some interesting promotions, and they really get into it. So it's a special brand of baseball.
Like, what kind of promotions do you remember there? Like, what stands out when you say that?
Man, we had some musicians come. We had, like, the normal. A lot of it is probably similar to minor league baseball. You just kind of see a lot of it with the themed nights and everything like that. But they just do a lot of the same stuff with that. But there's some craziness. Concerts before the game, concerts after the game, like on the dugout. So they just do a really really good job with that.
I wanted to ask you this, and I think a lot of people don't, I guess, know this answer either. But what is your day to day like in indie ball? Like, is it really different compared to affiliate ball, or is it pretty much status quo?
I would say it's a little different, but very very similar. You get to the field kind of when you need to get ready for the game, and you do BP, on field practice, stuff like that. Just kind of but it's a lot more at your own pace. Our my manager Mark Nakazi was awesome with that. It was very much a at your own pace, whatever you need to get ready for the game, whether it's a lot or a little, just kind of day to day. And especially being able to play every day was awesome too. So there's certain days when you're feeling great and you're maybe doing a little bit more, a little less, but it was very much kind of how you feel, and got to have free reign with that.
How did your season end up going? I think I believe I read somewhere that you were an all-star there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Had a very good year, so it was fun. I mean, it was being able to get at bats every day and play every day, catch 6 days a week. So it was fun. I think play a little bit of first as well, and just try to get some reps over there when I could. But it was a really fun year. I think being able to be around that group of guys just made it that much easier.
I've done some thinking after me and Ed have interviewed a few guys from the 2023 Red Sox draft class, and then we just interviewed a guy today from the 2022 draft class. Are you still close with the guys from your draft class?
Oh yeah, I mean, let's see, Feltman, Thad Ward, both who are with us anymore. Granberg, Grant Williams, all those guys, even JD. So we talk, but like Fitz was there. He wasn't in that draft class, but he signed that year at Indy Ball. Man, yeah, there's a lot of guys. Cassis, we chat every once in a while on Instagram, but man, it's a really I think we had a good group of guys, and so being able to stay with each other, most of the years when we went up through the system as well, we kind of all progressed the same. So we still talk quite a bit.
How much of the 2023 Red Sox season were you following?
Oh man, I mean, quite a bit. I think with Cassis, JD, Houck, all these guys playing every day. It's, fun to watch. A lot of, I know most everybody. I know they made a lot of moves right before the deadline and switched, DFA'd a lot of guys. But, I did watch quite a bit of the year.
No wrong answer on this, but just from working with him, seeing him pitch as much as you have, Tanner Houck, starter or reliever?
I'd say starter. His stuff's way too good to only use him for 1 or 2 innings. He's just nasty. So I think being able to get the most out of him you can is going to put him in a good position.
Yeah, that was the right answer, by the way.
Good.
I feel like I went to high school right next to him in St. Louis, and then watched him at Mizzou, obviously. And I feel like I've been watching him start since I was probably 12 years old. So that guy he's got some stuff, man. It's fun to watch, and I agree with you. It's just like it's so tough to only want to see that for an inning or two. So, but I guess I wanted to kind of pivot as well. So, have you been following like at all like any of the Woo Sox as well, or any of the affiliates that you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I probably know more guys on there than even the Red Sox. So I've been following them quite a bit.
All right, so this was my first year to be around Chad Tracy and that whole staff, and obviously it's sad news today with Paul Abbott and Montville getting let go. But what were some of your like I guess some of your favorite memories from your time in Worcester?
Oh man, there's a lot, I think, but Trace, man, he's an awesome manager. I think he's a perfect combination of, he wants to win more than anybody, but will do anything for the players. So he's just was an awesome guy to play for. But we had a lot of fun times. I think we won a lot of games when I was up there. But man, the what I'll miss the most is the guys up there. The stadium itself is probably the best stadium in minor league baseball, and they get more fans than anybody, so that's special in of itself. And I think the first game I was up there was a day game before it got rained out, but it was a day game, and Saturday at 4 o'clock, something like that. And man, there's 10,000 people there, and I was like, man, at 4 o'clock on a Saturday, and it only got better. I think there's certain days of the week that traditionally minor league stadiums don't get a lot of fans, maybe like a Tuesday or Wednesday. Closer to the weekend, obviously get more, but man, Worcester just packs it through and through. So I think the stadium, the fans, and people probably the best part of that.
Now there's not a wrong answer here. I'm going to ask you this because I saw which one did you like better playing in, Portland or Worcester?
Oh man, they're completely different. I think Portland's more the old school. Worcester's very new, but I'm not really sure because I was in Worcester for 2 or 3 months and was in Portland for almost a full year probably. I think I was probably more comfortable in Portland. It's just so different. I think if you're looking for like the big crowd, big roar, Worcester's the flashy lights. But if you're looking for like an old school, like every fan is into it 100%, Portland's the way to go. And it's a very unique stadium, both of them, respectfully, because Portland has the monster, has the bullpen above right. Worcester is a very new stand, big scoreboard, everything like that. So it was a super. They're so different and so perfect at the same time.
Going to Indy ball, what did you find to be the biggest difference between like affiliate ball and that?
It's a good question. I'm not, the biggest thing's probably, you're not playing GM all the time. You're not sitting there just like looking at who's in front of you, who's behind you, everything like that. It's just kind of, it's like, man, just go out and have fun. And that's kind of something that was very unique in that situation, right? Because indie ball, man, it's just, it's a grind. You go out there, you play, and try to have as much fun as you can. So I think that was what I was looking for in it. And that's kind of what I got was, being able to play every day for the first time in my career. And, just go out and have fun again and not, look at the numbers, not, look at all this and that. Just try to win, try to have fun, and, just go out there and play baseball again.
How much of a challenge was that for you with the Red Sox and competing with, like you guys, it's an iron sharpens iron situation, but you're still competing for playing time with other guys. Did that start to take a toll on you?
Yeah, I'm sure it does with everybody. And I think, everyone would say, they try to do their best not to let that affect you. But, unfortunately, in minor league baseball, and which almost everything else, there's a lot of politics involved and stuff that's out of your control where I think, in an indie ball setting when, man, it's just you perform, you do well, and you have fun with it. There's not kind of that overarching politics of it, which I think falls into quite a bit more than minor league baseball. But it's like, I think trying to get yourself to stay away from that is everyone's goal. But, obviously people fall into that trap all the time.
You just brought up something that I kind of remembered something. So I remember at one point in the season after Steven Scott got called up to Worcester, I had talked to him about just getting put. They had 3 catchers at the time in Worcester, and he wasn't really getting any playing time at the time because Oso was absolutely on fire. But I remember talking to him, and I said, hey, after they drafted Kyle Teal, a catcher in the first round, and he was already up to, I think he was in Greenville at the time. But it was kind of asking him, like, is that something that you are very aware of? And he's like, oh yeah. So if you were still in the system and you were a catcher in Worcester and you were kind of like, oh, this guy's right on our tails in Portland, that's on your mind.
I think it probably is like away from the game itself. And like, obviously when you're in the game, no one ever thinks about stuff like that. It's just compete as much as you can. But I'm sure, of course, I mean, somebody would lie if they say they wouldn't think of that. Scotty wouldn't lie about that. He's the best, but
Scotty's awesome.
Just awesome, man. So happy for him with the success. And you let him play a little bit, dude starts raking. So it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think, but no, I think everyone, probably thinks of that in the back of their mind at some point. But again, you try not to let that affect you, and definitely try not to let it affect your play. But it's probably there.
Now, do you feel like your mentality has changed after this season? Do you feel like you're kind of like your head's cleared, you're kind of playing the game more like it's supposed to be, or like where are you at now? Like, how are you feeling about the off season?
Yeah, no, I'm back in Knoxville, but I think 100%. I think I went into the season, looking for that, looking for just kind of the reset, have fun, play every day kind of mentality, and that's kind of what I got. I was able to, it was kind of betting on myself situation where I asked for my release, and it was very, it was a very scary decision, and so leaving that and having to go play independent ball, but it was, I was super happy with it. Off the field and everything, like I said, being together with my family, but, on the field, it was really kind of a scary moment because it was like, man, I'm leaving the direct path to my dream to go bet on myself to make it maybe a little bit better somewhere else. So I think, that's kind of exactly what I got. And, where I'm at now, man, is just, I had a lot of fun playing this year, and I'm hoping to carry that over with wherever I play next year.
What kind of options are you, I guess, looking at for next year?
Whenever, I think the World Series ends or whatever, I think, just going to look for a job in affiliated ball. My agent's talking to a few teams, and I think during the season, there was probably 4 or 5 teams that were interested, just for whatever reason didn't work out. But I think, just trying to get that and then see what doors open there, and kind of go from there.
What is the quality of pitching like there by comparison to affiliate ball? Like, are these guys that are like ex minor leaguers, ex major leaguers, ex college players? Like, what's the general skill level?
Oh, it's good skill level. I think there's quite a bit of ex big leaguers. Almost everybody is a former affiliate. Double A, Triple A. There's probably a few guys per team that are just have Atlantic League experience. But most everybody is a former big leaguer, former high minors guy. So and it was good competition. And I think that was kind of a surprise to me as well, which was a great surprise because it gave our team better players as well. But it was good competition. I think we had a lot of guys, even on offensively throughout the league, that were a lot of big name ex big leaguers, and having guys with a lot of experience was good.
Was there anybody that either on your team or that you were playing against where it was just like, what are you doing here? Like, why aren't you with a big league team right now?
Man, there was quite a bit. I think we had a guy on our team, Leobaldo Cabrera. He was, his brother is the outfielder for the Yankees, and he hit 34 bombs, hit 300 with 20 bags, and still there. So there's a couple other guys, but that was the first that came to my mind. Just a lot of pitchers that were there that were just way too good for the league. So it was very very, very fun, very competitive, and that's kind of all I could ask for that.
I was pretty amazed when the Red Sox signed two indie ball guys this year. One of them being
Mm.
Kyle Bearclaw, and he comes over to Worcester and he wins their Pitcher of the Year award, and he dominates in Worcester. And he obviously gets called up to the big leagues. But I'm just like, this guy was in indie ball like 2 months ago, and he comes over and he was 8-0, and he had like a 2 ERA and starting after he was relieving for his whole entire career. It's insane.
Yeah, we actually faced him. Very thankful that that was one of the days I had off. So I actually caddied for my brother that morning, so I had the day off. So it was
Oh,
good.
nice.
But man, he was good. He was special, and it's guys like that they had in the league. And that's a goal right there. Is somebody sees you, you get picked up, and you get put in a position to succeed in affiliate ball.
So when you go sign there, are they providing housing and like room and board and that stuff, or is it like they provide a spot on the team and you kind of have to pay out of pocket for the rest of it?
Yeah. Most of the time, he'll. I think with most teams, they provided somewhere to stay. You had to pay for it, but with pretty good discount. But it's still quite a bit of money, and I think that's kind of you kind of go. You're not really going there for to make money. That's for sure. It's just kind
Yeah.
of you're kind of like everyone in that league. I believe is just and trying to bet on themselves and get out of there. And I think you ask any coach in the league, any player, the goal isn't to be a Atlantic League All Star, Atlantic League lifer. It's kind of to get out of there and get to the big leagues.
I may have missed this, and it's kind of way off topic of everything we were just talking about. And I don't know if you've ever talked about this before, but you said you're in Knoxville right now. So what is a kid from Knoxville doing going to Kentucky?
Oh man, I didn't get recruited by Tennessee. I went to a lot of their camps. Had a lot of buddies going there, and just kind of the way it worked. They had a couple of guys they liked a little bit better. And I've talked to Dave Serrano was a coach at the time. Talked to him after the fact. I've caught his son's bullpens every once in a while. But man, I didn't really have any big offers. I had a few smaller D1s, and Kentucky came last minute. Was like, hey, you want to come play here? Took a visit. I was like, absolutely. So it was a really the coach there at the time, the recruiting guy, took a chance, and I was forever thankful for it.
I don't think I've noticed after living in the Northeast, and I know college sports isn't a huge thing. Obviously, college hockey is. I'll give them that. But college football, baseball, those things aren't as big up here. And it was nice when Scotty did get called up. I had my SEC guy in the locker room, so I got to talk to him a bit. But what was it like, I guess, playing SEC conference play and the tournament? And because I try to explain, it's just like, I don't know why, but when you step foot on an SEC campus, it's just different. I don't know. I can't describe it.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating at first, that's for sure. I think my first SEC series was at Georgia my freshman year, and man, we got off the bus and saw the other team, and we're like, man, those are men right there. And so it's just different, and again, it probably had to be with I was a small little freshman, but man, it's so exciting. I think, they have so many passionate fans, and, it's different than minor league baseball because, you only play 40, 50 games, whatever it is. And, every game is pretty intense and, very much matters. So it's kind of it's just a different atmosphere. And being able to play against some of the best guys in the country, is really special. Also, I mean, you go to some really cool places, you see a lot of big leaguers in those rotations. So that's,
When it comes to just making that decision to bet on yourself, is there anything that you wish you had known going into it that you know now?
um, no, probably to buy an air fryer a little earlier, I guess. But
Was
no,
that was that we? Oh, sorry.
no. I'm not really sure. I think the way it all happened was pretty special. I think and I couldn't have written it up any different. I think especially the way it worked with playing with one of my best friends. I never thought I'd be able to play with again. Meeting some of the guys, it was very. It could have been a very interesting, crappy year, or whatever, and it turned out to be pretty special. And so I don't really know if I would have done better if I had known more at the time, but I probably would
If you
have.
had an air fryer at the time.
Yeah. I think I would have eaten a little bit better, but no.
Do you have any horror stories from playing in Lowell?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can. Yeah, well, let's see.
It's no longer a team, so
I know. Well, it's more. I don't know if I want to say it on
okay.
air, but no. It's interesting, man. That place is pretty wild. But the first day that you sit in the locker room and the cops come in and tell you not to go certain places at night, and I will say for as many, I mean, interesting parts of that town, they had a fantastic movie theater, one of the best at the time. But
Oh, the Lowell one? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That movie
incredible,
theater's terrific.
incredible.
I
But
know exactly which one you're talking about.
yeah. But I don't know, man. The travel there was pretty bad. I mean, you're traveling, and that was back when it was a 2 to 3 game series. So you're packing up, moving every time. Um, Man, I don't know about any horror stories. At the time, Sean Smith was I think it might be the GM or the field owner of the field, whatever. He's in Fort Myers now. One of the best people I've met in baseball, one of the best. And so we've kept in touch over the years. And yeah, he just got promoted to. I'm not even sure. It's not GM or facility manager of the Fort Myers field, but man, one of the best people in baseball.
I had to ask you because I interviewed Steven Novosek last year, and since he's no longer obviously in the organization, I feel like he was just very open with it.
Sure.
And he's just like, yeah, like it was definitely an experience, and they shut off the electricity, and just I don't know, there was some stuff that I was like, I saw you played there. It was like right before.
Yeah, I think probably more of that was my first right when I got drafted. I went right to Lowell, and I think I was probably still super excited and super pumped to be playing minor league baseball. That I probably overlooked quite a bit of the of what would have been the horror stories there.
I mean, they have you. You guys are living in the dorms there, right? Because it's the summer and you're like right by UMass Lowell.
Yeah. So I will say I was I roomed with Thad Ward there, and he'd be the first to tell you I probably didn't eat the best the first couple of days there. And he ordered a bunch of pizzas and had a bunch of M&Ms, and then we didn't pass we didn't have our physicals for a couple of days, so we were like, man, we'll just chill and hang out. And man, we went back for lunch and we ate probably 3 or 4 pieces of pizza and a couple handfuls of M&Ms, and they call me and are like, hey, you can do the physicals just passed, like you guys want to do your conditioning test right now. So I ran the conditioning test with a belly full of pizza and M&Ms. So that was pretty crappy.
You're not passing that physical.
No. I mean, I tell you what, I passed every bit, and I was sweating out M&Ms for a week. So,
dude, following Ward this year, that must have been kind of cool seeing him in the majors. But with the Rule 5 and everything, is that something that, like, in the back of your mind, as a minor leaguer, you're kind of thinking like, oh, maybe a team will pick me up for this?
Yeah. I think all the players are very optimistic, I think, with that. And unfortunately, there isn't a lot of people that actually do get selected. I know the Red Sox had 2 with him and Politi this year, but man, I think most everybody is very optimistic that they're going to get picked up. You can make an argument for a lot of people to get picked up, but I think again that goes back to kind of the politics of it all. With it just has to be a perfect situation for a team that's looking for something, a perfect fit at a perfect time. And fortunately, Thad got the opportunity to go up and be up there for most of the year. So I think hopefully he just runs with that.
So when you got drafted, I've been talking to guys about this all year. But when you got drafted, there was no deal in place for the minor leaguers with the CBA, correct?
Correct. No, that's only this
so that was
year.
post. Yeah. So what would you think? I guess. I mean, obviously it's better for the players, but like, were some of the things, I know we were just talking about your time in Lowell, and there probably wouldn't have been the same if there would have been that in place back then. It's definitely better for the guys and everything, but what do you think is the most I guess, beneficial for the guys now that have that in place?
Oh, I mean, outside of more money, I think the housing is the biggest by far because, man, when we were in, I mean, I guess every level you had to find your own housing, and what that meant to us was you had to find an apartment complex willing to do a 5 or 6 month lease, which they would jack the prices up. Then you'd have to find
Oh,
the
man.
utilities part of it. Then you have to find the cable Wi-Fi part of it or whatever. And then if you got promoted or sent down or whatever, you had to get someone to take over the lease, and then at the end of you had to cancel it all, and it just ended up being so much money. So and again, now they get their own room, own bed, everything like that. We were sleeping, 5 guys in a 3 bedroom. I think one time might have been 6. And so it was very. I think that's the biggest thing by far. Just not even the space, because they're all pretty nice now, actually, all the places they stay. But I think the hassle of because you don't find out where you're going until the day before, and you're making a 12-hour drive, 14-hour drive, having to find a place to stay. So I think most of the teams did a pretty decent job with providing like a list of the apartment complexes that'd be willing to do a 5 month lease, but at the same time, you're still calling, you're having the head of the apartment. Like, it just was so much work. I think being able to just not have to do that and just show up where and again, I know all the affiliates do all the work, and it's really probably a lot more for them, but that's definitely the most helpful for a player.
Ed, you look like you got something on your mind.
Oh no, this is totally unrelated. I miss the mustache, Cole. I miss it.
Yeah,
The beard looks good. It looks good, but I miss the mustache.
It'll come back. I had the mustache for probably 99% of the year this year, and then we've got probably 4 or 5 weddings coming up. Thought I'd grow it out a little bit, but yeah, it was there most of the year.
It's like I think it's you're a good looking guy either way, but the mustache stood out, So I just was like, something looks different, that it just hit me with that. Like, oh, he grew out the full beard.
Well, that's good. It took you that long. I'm glad. It wasn't just didn't piss you off right away. They didn't have the staff.
That's what
I wouldn't say I'm pissed off. It's just sad.
Yeah.
I actually, I was so impressed by when Ryan Fernandez came up this year, and he had the best stash I've ever seen on a minor leaguer. I was so impressed that I grew one myself, but it was a bad time because Trevor Story was rehabbing and there was cameras everywhere, and I got so many photos, and it was like fresh, and I looked like I was not allowed within 100 feet of an elementary school. So
sure, everyone goes through that. Don't worry.
It's tough, man. It's so tough. All right. Well, what I guess like heading into the off season here, you got any exciting off season plans?
Yeah, quite a bit of weddings coming up. My brother's getting married in a few weeks.
Congratulations!
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. Have some friends and other family getting married. So it's gonna be a good time, and just being able to spend a lot of time with the family. That's always the best part of the off season. Just you take little trips, but it's more about just spending days with the family. So, and like I said, man, I got a lot of daddy daycare to catch up on. So it's been interesting so far, but it's been just incredible.
My last question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You.
I was going to just say, who do you have for the World Series? Who do you think's taking it?
Man, I would have said anything to say the Braves, but I'm watching that game. Was watching that game
earlier.
It didn't look good. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. And my money probably would have been on the Braves, but I mean, the Rangers came out of nowhere to fake it. Scherzer back. I mean, I don't know, but and I got a buddy on the Rangers, so I'm hoping Evan Carter. He's absolutely crushing it right now.
Oh my God, yeah, he's been incredible.
And I will say, one of the best people in the world. I mean, just such a great kid, works so hard, and and baseball is just something for him. Like he loves his family, loves God. It's just baseball is just something he does, and he is freaking good at it. So
how do you know him?
He's from this area, so I trained with him for a few years down here. So he's been down a bunch, and he's probably Elizabethtown, Tennessee, so it's probably like an hour away. But he comes down, works out down here in the off season.
Yeah, he's been crushing it. It's been impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my last questions for you. I know we talked about it a little at the beginning. What's your unbiased prediction for this Saturday?
Man, I think Kentucky's going to kill them, but I think realistically, they looked so bad last week. I mean, Missouri's surprisingly been. I mean, they're what 5-1, right?
Yeah.
And they could have won that game against LSU. I mean, the end was crap, but I mean, man, they looked all right. I'm saying it's going to be 28-24 Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times? So you obviously got to go to Columbia during the baseball, your baseball career. Be nice about it, but I know the facilities, I know all that isn't the best, but what was your experience like in Columbia? I need to know.
It was raining every day and pretty cold, but it
All
wasn't
right.
bad. And it was in a weird stage, I think, of the field because I think they had half turf, half it was like turf in the outfield or something and dirt in the infield. I honestly don't remember that. But we faced Tanner and we faced like TJ Sycamore. And we faced a
Oh
bunch of good
man,
pitchers.
Keith
So I mean, it
Fairbanks
was a
too.
pretty, we had because I was in 17 when we went there, and they actually had a decent indoor. I think it was the football that we had to like warm up in because it was raining outside. But I remember nothing in the city, unfortunately, because we were in college. It was different. If your family
Yeah.
didn't come, you weren't gonna walk like go anywhere. Or you didn't drive, and honestly that might have been before Uber. I don't even remember, but but it was interesting. I think it wasn't great. The weather was crap, but I think also the team they were pretty good that year. I think Trey Harris. They had a couple other guys, so it was a fun series.
I just had to ask because Scotty roasted me about it because he said Columbia, Missouri was the worst place he ever played in college and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, take it easy, man. Like, we're
Yeah,
not
it
all
definitely wasn't the
Vanderbilt.
best, but I don't know about the worst.
I mean, we're not all Vanderbilt, right?
We're
It's
not.
like
We can't. Yeah, we can't all go to Vandy and play in front of 7,000 every night. So
exactly. But yeah, I mean, Ed, do you get emptying the bench here? Do you got any finals?
I'm good, man. I'm just I'm happy. I'm happy to hear the season went well for you, and I'm really excited to see what 2024 holds for you as well.
thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. Well, we appreciate the time, man. It's we took you away from daycare a little bit, so thank you for the time, and we'll definitely would love to chat with you in the future again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you.